taking away that Vi. Was a champion he played throughout the summer. Hasn't really played it a great deal during the spring of 2014. Yasuo also being targeted, not allowing Kerp to have that.
So we know Kerp has been playing a fair amount of that Yasuo. You've already highlighted the fact that Kasten was going to be removed, but we've still got those farm-heavy mid laners available. You've still got the Ziggs, the Gragas. The incredibly powerful Elise is still up, and I think this is probably one of the most first-pick champions when it's available in Europe.
And as you predicted, Evelyn coming straight out for Aranea. It's something he's played throughout solo queue. Also Thresh being picked up for J-Reed.
And of course, knowing that there's a jungle already locked in on the other side from Gambit, Millenium have saved themselves a smart pick. They've taken away that Thresh from Edward, and locking in that Eve is going to allow Aranea a lot of early pressure, and it's going to allow him to play his play style. Lee Sin was available, so keep this in mind. Lee Sin is something that Aranea has played several times during the course of the split. It's one of his most played. But he's decided that solo queue, the practice, the scrimming, Evelyn is what they want.
And while we wait for Gambit to lock in, you know, I mentioned J-Reed picking him up Thresh, and I'm just casting my mind back. J-Reed played amazing on Thresh.
Yeah, if you think to the game against, was it Super Hot Crew?
Yeah.
We had him in his OP players, LCS big plays on the Friday morning, landing hook after hook after hook. I actually remember him pulling Kevin, along with the Lantern, on a flash hook. I mean, just taking him all the way down the lane. And that's an interesting point to highlight. Warwick is open and available, and something that both Darren and Kevin have actually played and got wins with here in the LCS. So we'll see what they decide to lock in.
Well, it is going to be Lucian and LeBlanc being picked up by Alex6. I talked about the fact that Ambition played an amazing LeBlanc earlier on. Kerp has played a lot of LeBlanc as well. But right now we're going to see what Alex can do.
So two things about those picks. First of all, the Lucian locked in, taking that away from Creatine. We talked about how Genja's main AD carry was Jinx, and at the moment Creatine's thinking about it. With the LeBlanc locked in, LeBlanc is basically a counter-assassin. She does incredibly well against those farmy, pokey mid laners because she can all in them and blow them up. And if you play something like a Fizz or a Zed, you can actually survive the damage they're putting out, and you actually have some good kill potential. You have a Silence, a Root, as well as that sort of flash ability with your Distortion. So it's a very smart pick, and I'm so happy Alex is not playing Lulu, because he can make things happen with LeBlanc.
And while we see the AD carries being locked in, we do see the fact that Jinx was available, but Genja decided to go for Lucian as the room gets static burst. It's all good though. I mean, everybody was obviously shocked by the fact that Jinx was let go by Genja.
Sorry, what was that? So Jinx locked in, of course. They've traded 80 carries. The farm-heavy mid laner here from Kerp is a little bit different from what we have been seeing him play. He has played Gragas a couple of times. It's going to be very important for Millenium to have a strong engage. And right now, they're very reliant on either Aranea flanking with his Agony's Embrace or J-Reed landing a hook, because there's no clear, we're going to start a fight now with this button. Whereas with a Sona, that's a very clear Flash Crescendo or Crescendo will lock up members of Millenium and allow them to pick a fight.
Yeah, we're waiting to see whether Eddie's going to go back to Sona. Well, he's going to pull out some of those 4-man Crescendos he's been used to doing. You can see he's setting up for this one. No messing around, you notice, by the way, in the picks and bans here. Gambit are ultra serious. Normally we're seeing the Teemo being hovered over anything else they control around with, but instead they're going super serious on this one.
And going old school Gambit, the Sona being locked in, we're still seeing a little bit of Sona every now and again, but not super popular at this point in time. And with the Sona being locked in, I think that's a very good balance out here for Gambit. They've got good engage, they've got disengage if they want to use that Crescendo defensively, and I actually like the fact that they've got the ability to find picks, and they have a very good team fight presence with Renekton on the front line with Elise, and that Sona in the background healing and providing all of those auras.
Well, speaking of old school, we may well see Shen being picked up here as well for Kevin. It is a champion he played a lot throughout the spring and summer, and he's also played it so far. I was going to say I'm going to see a top lane Katarina coming out.
No,
that would surprise me with Kevin for sure.
I think Millenium actually have a good combination with the Shen and Eve, because you can have that sort of stealth stand united. Aranea can come in from the side, channel his stand united on Eve before she gets spotted out, and then try to land the Shadow Dash taunt. Outside of that, there is very little initiation power on the side of Millenium, so they're going to be very, very reliant on their positioning and ensuring that they're not caught out by a multi-man Crescendo or being caught by a Cocoon or a Root from LeBlanc, because at this point in time, you know, there's no Leona, there's no Annie.
And that's a problem, because surely Aranea is going to want someone to set him up. He's going to want to be able to come around the side, but You're not going to see Kerp going aggressive, going diving in there. He's just going to be throwing bombs from range.
This almost makes me think that RNA may build tanky. We've seen Evelyn's being built so many different ways. A couple weeks back, Diamond Brock's built to AD when the changes came in, rushed a Blade of the Ruined King. Last week, you seen him have a mixture. He had a Hex Drinker as well as ability power items working his way towards an Hourglass of memory serves. So now I want to see how Aranea decides to build, if he's going to go Spirit of the Ancient Golem or if he's going to go one of the damage items, because the options are there for you. And with him being the initiator, I feel like tank may be the best one.
And of course, I want to see which way the LeBlanc's going to go, because of course we saw this morning Ambition went rushed for that Athenes, and of course we saw the not the Ravens, let's get the Deathfire Grasp coming out early on, which is kind of the standard in Europe. So we'll see which way it goes. Of course, as this matchup does begin, let's total up the votes to see which team you think has been picked to win. According to lollysports.com, well, it's a giant vote. 91% of you expect Gambit to...
That is a big vote. And it's sad to say, but Millenium don't necessarily have the public opinion. Much like XTG over in NA during the course of last year, they were performing well. This is XTG. Nobody voted for them. Millennium, on the other hand, they're sitting at the bottom of the pile. This is a second-place team taking on the 8th-place team. And considering how difficult Millennium has been finding to rack up wins against top of the table, understandable.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It is the final game of the day. Gambit Gaming as the blue team up against Millennium as the red team. And we'll see whether Millennium continue their trademark invades, because they are one of the few teams in the LCS, as they are grouped up as a 5, that do go for invades.
I would go as far as to say they are the only team that is consistently going for those level 1 invades. They have grouped themselves up in and around the river right now. They do have the Death Sentence available as well. Aranea is playing Scout because he can't be seen just yet. So if they do get some CC onto Alex, he's going to be in trouble. Look at Kevin's positioning. They may want to go for a taunt. This is going to be scary. I hear a Spanish yelling.
I hear a Spanish yelling, and that means Alex Ich is in trouble. And it's going to be an easy first blood on Alex Ich.
Two things worked in their favor. Number one, Aranea provided vision. Number two, J-Re on Thresh landed the hook, and a flash taunt from Kevin was enough CC to let them, get the kill. The kill credit was on Aranea. Now we'll see how his Evelyn does with a good early start in the jungle.
And the reason you do hear that Spanish yelling, of course, is because the players are ever so slightly ahead. That's because, of course, we don't want anyone in the crowd to give anything away. And, of course, this is never going to happen. They've got giant headphones on their head, but they can hear you guys and see you swinging and waving at them. So feel free to be vocal to the players as and when you choose. Currently, though, heavy warding from Darian there, making sure he gets in towards that red. Kevin will see him coming past here. Kevin can turn aggressive.
Yeah, that's very important for Darian to get that ward down. They need to try and keep tabs on Eve and where she is in and around the jungle. One of the things we've seen other teams doing against Evelyn's is going for a lane swap because you force Eve to respond to it. Genji's caught.
Oh, great death sentence once again, but the trade is not favorable for Millennium this time around. Gambit don't really do a good job there.
I think that was actually a bad call from Millennium. Edward's going to be able to sustain the damage that Genji has taken, and look at the poke Edward and Genji are putting down. J-Re and Creatine, if they go for a hook, they have to get a kill, otherwise they're simply going to come off worse for wear.
Well, J-Re's going to continue lashing on towards Edward. We will do see Creaton, as you mentioned, taken pretty low. He's going to have to choke through those health pots. If he gets caught out again, another trade from Genji, really poking Creaton down. He's below half health. There goes the health pot.
Yeah, Edward is the one that's at low health for Gambit, but it's Creaton that's dropped low for Millennium. This is a big advantage for Gambit. Edward still has a mana pool available, so he's going to continue sustaining and continue poking, and this is actually a very, very aggressive lane. That was non-stop fight for the first few minutes.
Aggression in the mid lane as well. Alex being having that Mimic popped on him, and that is really putting pressure on. So Millennium starting off quite strong here, trying to be aggressive, but Gambit are responding in kind.
Yeah, Gambit doing okay to at least keep up. I think with all that poking Genji and Edward doing in that bottom lane, it's costing a little bit of CS. We'll have to keep tabs on those numbers. Now, we do see a good pink ward from RNA in the river, so he knows that Gambit haven't seen him. And RNA is coming up from behind. We know Taunt is already selected for Kevin. The CC's coming in.
There's an Ignite from Kevin. He's going to go straight on towards Darian. They're going to lock on towards him. Double buff Darian here. Going to flash through and chase this one. The Ignite should do it. Yes, it will. And Kevin takes down Darian.
And that is what we talked about with this Evelyn. The fact that she's going to come in from stealth, you're not going to be able to react in time. And Darian was just too overextended. He used his ward in the red buff. Think back a couple of minutes ago. He walked in very, very deep. We talked about that. And as we've seen, Aranea was able to come up from the river and secure a second kill for his team. good position to be in, especially for that Shen. Going up against Renekton with a kill and some items, he's not going to be able to be bullied quite as hard once he gets himself a little bit of armor.
Oh, another death sentence landed on Genji this time around. Kraton's going to try and turn it around, but again, Edward in his face.
At this point in time, Kraton doesn't have the mana to continue using that rocket launcher, so he gets one auto attack down and then basically has to back away. There is an Ignite still available for J-Ree, but there's not enough damage to chunk down Genji from 100 to 0 with that small amount of time. So at this point, just trading back and forth, continuing to play aggressive. What it does mean is as we get higher in levels, the potential to secure kills in those 2v2 will become more likely.
We'll see how that aggression continues, because Millenium, while they always start off strong with that aggression, it sometimes turns around and bites them in the backside when they get a little too carried away. I
want to highlight the fact that Aranea cannot be seen this time around. So when he was playing Elise last week against Rock at Fall, he got caught out in Elise by Vander's hooks on Thresh. And one of the reasons is because Aranea's positioning in the mid to late game roams is not necessarily the strongest. Now on Elise, on Eve rather, he's going to have a little bit of a bigger window of safety. He's going to be able to be spotted later on, and he's going to have more freedom in moving and roaming, which I think will work in Millenium and more importantly in Aranea's favor.
Well, he has only just backed off the first time, gets that Spirit Stone and boots. See what else he buys out, and waiting for one item. Will it be a longsword? We'll see what it goes. It's going to be a Ruby Gem.
So we're going to get some additional HP just to survive in lane a little bit more. Across the board, nothing too exciting being secured here. Double Thorns rings plus the makings of that Chalice of Harmony there for Kerp. So he's just going to be trying to farm out the wave. He's got a small CS lead, but that's to be expected. You know, it's pretty difficult to farm with LeBlanc in these early levels. And as they're getting closer to 6, we're going to have to keep our eyes on Kerp. He's got Barrier available, so the all-in threat of Alex is going to be a little bit mitigated. It'll take longer for him to get through that barrier and then go for a kill. Aranea, level 4, looking for a second gank. If a hook doesn't land, this isn't going to work out. They want Edward.
He wants Edward. He's going to go straight towards it. The death sentence doesn't land. Aranea, of course, came into that bush. It was only over a normal sight ward. It wasn't a invisible visibility ward. We do see the ward placed very deep in that top lane. Just going to see whether Diamond's going to come around the back. Darian, being very clever with that ward on the top lane on the golems. So making sure he can keep track of Aranea, because he's expecting to go for them golems and then come in towards him.
Well, J-Ree pulling a mini yellow star there. Flash Flay and they're not connecting with the death sentence. They caught Genji this time. I don't know if they'll get a kill though.
They are going to get the Flay on him this time around. And again, the rockets from Kraton are going to back it up this time around. It is a good trade for Millenium. They're keeping that pressure on towards Genji.
Edward's got so much mana though that he's probably going to sustain Genji before another hook comes in. So overall, Millenium are doing the right thing. They need to stay aggressive. They need to keep poking Genji and Edward down to prevent a kill from happening. So at this point, it's still completely even Stevens in that bottom lane. And we did see that Alex was roaming, trying to find Aranea, trying to find something in the jungle, not working out.
Yeah, we did see Kerps also Mega Inferno Bomb being used to clear that wave, keeping Alex off that tower. So that ultimate will be down for a short time. It's a very quick cooldown though. Aranea down the bottom. He's going to go for that big Wraith. We'll see whether he makes his rotation back around towards the bottom lane. Currently, buffs will be spawning in a moment, so expecting to be going for that blue to help out Kerp.
Yeah, two things that have happened as well. Level 6 has been secured for Kevin, so he's got that stand united, and Aranea is getting closer and closer to hitting level 6 as well. I feel like the way Aranea has been playing and how often he's tried 2 or 3 ganks already, you may actually see the combination of that Agony's Embrace plus stand united, most likely in the bottom lane, with Genji and Edward push, because it'll allow Millenium to get some dragon control, which is very important against Gambit. Gambit places a lot of importance on that objective. You can take it away from them, makes your life easier.
Diamond being a little bit more aggressive this time around, is going to come around for that red buff, expecting it to be spawning in a moment, which it will be. Oh, and I tell you what, Aranea's in trouble.
Yeah, Aranea's very low HP. If he gets spotted out by Diamond and Alex can respond, Alex has actually returned to lane. Aranea's decided to back off. I think realizing that Darren was missing and seeing Alex move across the Millenium wards, that was a smart decision from Aranea, realizing he actually couldn't go in for that trade. Nobody else from Millenium could react quickly enough, and back away.
Yeah, look at that, Kerp throwing the bomb straight through, making sure there's no one sat waiting for him, expecting that. So Millenium reading the game very well there, expecting Diamond to be countering. That's exactly what they did. So safety play from Millenium, something we haven't seen for a long time.
Something that we haven't seen either in this matchup is Darian going for a slightly different build on this Renekton. He's picked himself up a Hex Drinker as his first item, and in lane bully situations, we tend to see Renektons going for that Tiamat build first and then going tanky. And I think this is quite smart when you consider the gank power of that Evelyn and, of course, the Ziggs. But again, it's slightly different, it's slightly strange, and we'll see how it works out.
Well, it's going to be Kevin's first trip back to base. We'll see what he comes out with. I'm guessing he's going to be something tanky because he's playing Shen. Look at Aaron there, ready and waiting, wanting to pounce on Alex H. Maybe he's going to steal away that blue buff, but the fact that Alex now has his ultimate available, has that flash available, he's going to be very hard to pin down.
Yeah, that gank's never going to happen. There's not enough hard CC from Millenium to actually kill LeBlanc that quickly at this point in the game. There's not enough AP from Kerp to blow him up. And even with a Satchel Charge and an Agony's Embrace, you know, LeBlanc's going to be able to distortion away and then mimic that distortion as well. Now, Diamond is going to try to set up his first sort of counter gank of the game. Aranea and Diamond hanging around the very same area. Crescendo is available for Edward, so keep that in mind. If Millenium group up, if Flash is not up for Edward, so that's very important.
Yeah, not just yet. We'll see, of course. Don't forget, Kevin's got Stand United as well, so he could also join this fray down the bottom along with that Mega Inferno Bomb. Instead, Diamond is going to repel and back to base. So, not going to be joining the fight this time around. It will mean that Aranea is going to be once again relevant. He's going to come around and just keep on farming through that jungle. So despite the early aggression from Aranea, he's actually calmed it down quite significantly.
Yeah, I think he hasn't found an opening, really. You know, in that setup, Genji and Edward didn't go aggressive enough for Aranea to dive back in. And it almost felt like both teams may have been aware, hey, maybe somebody's there. I do want to touch on the fact that the Spirit of the Spectral Wraith has been picked up there by Diamond. So going for the AP damage, a jungle item on his Elise is a little different from the previous matchup where we actually seen the Spirit of the Ancient Golem, the tanky one and all these. So just a slight difference in approach between teams and players.
Kerp doing a really good job actually of farming against Alex Ich at the moment. Of course, the fact that they did go in early, first blood on Alex Ich from the very beginning, wouldn't have really upset him too much, but he's keeping that pressure on the tower. And we just saw Alex was thinking of backing away there, but realized he couldn't do it. But we do see Diamond, so this is probably why he didn't back off. Diamond made the call, we're going Dragon.
Yeah, and of course, playing the fact that he's on Elise with those Spiderlings, he's going to be able to tank up the Dragon for significantly longer. He's taken it down to 50% already, and nobody has responded. If Kerp thinks something fishy is going on, he has his ultimate, but doesn't even react. Millenium had no idea that was going on, and it was just great play from Gambit.
So, solo Dragon in 11 minutes from Diamond. All quickly gets spotted out, actually. And he is just going to back away from that one. Jerry not having any of this. But again, as I mentioned, Alex Ich, he really is being pressured on this turret right now. It is Kerp doing good work. Yeah,
Kerp's got a very good control or a good handle on the lane right now, but he needs to make it count further. It's a small CSD, and we talked about it in the previous match, how you need to get kills or get the tower and start roaming to have a bigger impact. The one thing I definitely want to talk on is how, as we start getting to this point where now towers and sieging towers is going to become more impactful, Gambit's wave clear is not going to be the strongest. You're going to be reliant on the close range LeBlanc, Elise, and Lucian. Whereas Ziggs is going to help immensely for defending a tower, and Jinx is going to be so powerful for attacking a tower. If Millenium get a good pick or get into that tower fighting situation, Jinx with her Pow Pow minigun will shred towers in the mid game.
Well, BF Swords picked up by both AD carries. They're both going to be going for that Bloodthirster early on. We'll see how it develops in builds. I'm guessing sometimes I would say we can see the standard builds, but Genji tends to differentiate now and again. However, we see Diamond coming in towards his top lane. Kevin does put that ward down, immediately spots out any danger. Doesn't get it cleared out. No, he did manage to keep the ward there. Diamond already backing away. They're passing that ward in the river.
And with the damage items that Darren's been able to build... Oh, they've caught Diamond!
He's going to repel, but he's got nowhere to go. Oh, Kerp, you blew yourself the wrong way, mate. He's going to throw that Mega Inferno bomb on. It will catch on towards him, but look at Darien. Stand United used, but it's not going to save Aranea. And now Darien's going to get focused on. And Kerp's got to be dangerous here because Alex is going to go towards him. Can he get the lock on? In comes Diamond back around the side. He is going to get lock up Cocoon on towards him. That will be one more down. Can they get the triple on towards Kevin? Kevin's going to back away from this one. Alex has got the burst damage if he can get close enough, but Kevin is going to run from this one. Dodges the leash, not going to be enough.
No, not this time around. So Kevin does manage to make it out. Was actually even thinking of fighting Darren, but that was very good play from Gambit. Darren was already going for an invade. He wanted to steal the double golems away and just get into Millenium's face. And when he realized that Diamond was in a bit of trouble, responded. Good taunt, but they want Kevin still.
Diving on it, that's dangerous stuff. Darren taking really low there. Kevin's still low on health, and Alex Ich, well, he's still got the burst capabilities.
Yeah, and there was no HP or defensive items here for Darren at all. He's got a pickaxe as well as a rejuvenation bead. The Super Mega Death Rocket is flying halfway across the map. It has been spotted and flies by. Just a little hit, a miss shot.
Yeah, not going to land it. It's a tricky one to fire all the way upriver, but when you do it in flat, straight in the face of Edward and Genja, they're kind of going to warn your teammates. Not exactly sneaky, didn't exactly step away from that one. Speaking in this bottom lane, it's still very even between the two. You can see 128 to 123 CS, a close game between this bottom lane.
Yeah, and actually Darian's first item is going to be the Maw of Mortius. So he hasn't necessarily built additional HP right now, but he's gone straight for the Maw. This is once again a very different build from what we usually see from Renekton's. And for the time being, it's working out. He's a couple CS down from Shen, but got himself a kill and an assist under his name. And we'll see how this prolonged laning phase works out. We're 15 minutes in. Towers have barely been touched. There's very little emphasis on trying to get these towers down from either of the teams. And we'll see how it works out. I think both teams scale very well the longer this game goes. And it's going to come down to whoever can get picks with their high damage champions.
Well, it is going to be an Athene's and Holy Grail for Alex Hitch. So he's maybe taking notes this morning as Ambition rocked his way through the OGN Masters up against Jinair Falcons and Jinair Stealths. And as it stands, it is Gambit that are, again, back ahead in terms of gold. You know, despite the fact they had a poor start, they always find the way to claw the way back into it in lane phase.
Yeah, they're doing well. The Dragon is obviously going to help out. The fact that Diamond was able to sneak that a little bit earlier on. So even though they're down a kill and a little bit of CS here and there, that Dragon's helping out. In addition, Diamond is out-farming Aranea quite effectively. I feel like that Athene's and Holy Grail pickup from Alex is a little bit more because of how difficult his opening levels were. Kurt played phenomenal. He landed a lot of bombs, a lot of auto attacks, which has a magic damage portion to it. And the additional magic resist from Athene's plus the ability to spam more spells is definitely a great pickup to survive the lane, which is what Alex has done quite well.
And again, Jerry waiting to throw out that death sentence, trying to hook out an Edward, but not working out. Trying to wind it up, trying to get baited in there, but it's not going to work out between them, and they just continue to stand facing one another and backing off and farming. We do see Sorcerer's Boots now being picked up by Alex Hitch. Are we going to start seeing him roaming here? Because Kerb's already backed away from lane. Of course, he's continuing that farming dominance that he has. Death Sentence again thrown out from J-Reed. Aranea going to join the fight. Does manage to land the leash. But again, Crescendo straight away counters it. Aranea comes in, but he's a little too late. Diamond chases back in, forces them away.
Yeah, Diamond responded in time. Alex was thinking about coming down the lane, but he needs to be careful. He's going to get spotted by Kerb. He's caught him.
Kerb's going to get caught out here, but it's a good trade back and forth, and Kerb's going to try and throw that bomb out. Alex is sidestepping it, ready and waiting for it. Very dangerous situation from both mid laners.
Now, if Alex does decide to roam and try to help out the other lane to get kills, it's going to allow Kerb to heavily push the lane. There's great wave clear from Kerb. Oh, Edward doesn't have Crescendo. They've caught J-Reed.
Oh, J-Reed going deep in there, but he's got ready. Stun United coming in there. Chopper's thrown out. Is it going to be enough? Oh, Edward gets away with it. Genja, the Ignite's running. Kevin steals that kill away from Kratos.
Yeah, but now here comes Diamond from the side.
It's going to come around there. Is he going to get on Kevin? Kevin's very tanky, remember. Edward's going to try and get in and lock him up, but he quickly dashes away from that one. We saw Alex Hitch trying to join the party as well. He's going to try and come around, sneak into the side. Is it going to be enough? Arenea's ready off the side as well. He spots him out and he has to back away.
Yeah, as Alex jumped over the wall, I think he got sight of Aranea, decided to reactivate his distortion and get back to safety. It's not over yet. Alex is still waiting in the wings as the rest of Millenium are now trying to catch him. Instead, Gambit peeled away. They've got much more HP for this dragon fight if it were to happen. Look for a good hook.
Kevin is low, like you say. Aranea does manage to get in there, but he's going to get leashed out. And that's the dragon already gone across to Gambit. And now they need to back away from this one. Gambit, I think, are just going to let them back off.
Yeah, I think Millenium have to back away from that one. We see that Aranea, he's got that Spirit of the Ancient Golem. He's grabbed himself a Negatron Cloak. We talked about how we expected him to go for that tanky Evelyn build, and it paid off in that situation. With additional HP and MR, he actually survived quite a lot of the burst that Alex put down. Unfortunately, the rest of his team was also very, very low, so prevented them from challenging for that dragon. Now, Kerp is the one that may get caught out as Alex is way behind enemy lives.
He is deep right now. There is a ward on red, so he knows that Kerp is around here. May well try and catch him out. But as it stands, no, he's just going to walk around and play it safe. So that tells me Alex actually doesn't want to duel Kerp right now.
I think Alex maybe not realizing where the rest of the team was. I think originally he wanted to get the kill and then sort of went, hang on a minute, I don't know where Aranea is. I don't have enough information to make this play work. So decided to back away. Look at all the vision that Millenium now have on this bottom half of the map. They're anticipating Gambit's ganks and Gambit's roams to heavily favor killing Creatine and J-Reed. They've got a lot of vision to back that one up. Kerp now moving a little bit towards the bottom lane. We do see Agony's Embrace is available for Aranea if he wants to go in. Hook doesn't connect though.
Doesn't connect, but Genji may well still get caught out here. And Renee is going to go for it, but again, too much given away. And as you say, not enough CC.
Yeah, I'm not sure that was even really the brightest idea for Aranea, because whenever you try slow illusion, he's just going to use Relentless Pursuit. Is he shake off the slow and walk away from you? The hook didn't connect. A little bit of a, I don't want to say desperate attempt, but a half-hearted attempt, I think, from Millenium. They need to set up those ganks a little more.
Well, Kirk continues his farming dominance in the mid lane. First person to reach 200 CS, so he continues to gather momentum. Of course, that Mega Inferno Bomb is available if it's really needed. He hasn't actually tossed it down to one of those lanes yet. He's just been farming safely. Alexic going in towards that red buff. Has got a ward on Aranea. Could go for it here, but Aranea already taking it.
Yeah, at the same time, there's a lot of pings on Diamond. The rest of Millenium have responded in kind. Jerry's going to get caught.
He's going to make sure he doesn't get this one down. The chomper's thrown through. Can he turn it back around? No, Jerry's safe. Gets the kill.
Jerry's last little auto attack. Culling comes down and that one doesn't connect at all with Creatine. Now, Millenium knew that that was happening. Kerp instantly pinged on Diamond when he tried to go in for the blue buff steal, and nobody was in range to respond. Nobody could help Diamond procs out. Now, Kerp is going to respond defending his mid lane. Aranea tried to get him, but he was scared of the burst.
We are seeing Darian farming between the towers in his top lane, which is where Aranea is heading off there. Kevin not too worried about it, and he's going to try and focus on towards him. They're going to go in towards him now. He comes around the side. He's going to be able to slice. Oh! Has to use the flash to get away. And Darian, well, that's a summoner spell burn, but he is safe.
Yeah, a little bit of a misplay there from Darian. Face planting against the double golems. He gets out with his life. He's got that Giant's Belt in conjunction with the more Malmortia, so the lower he gets in HP, the little scarier that he's going to become. You never want to be fighting 2v1, and he decided to bail away. Sweeping lane's used by J-Re, and it doesn't actually see the ward. It's a little too deep in that river. So you highlighted the fact that Gambit have a very, very deep ward all the way at the top. And they are, Millenium are unaware that that's there.
Yeah, through the goalpost, missed both of them. And instead, he's going to keep the vision for Gambit. J-Re, well, he was very successful early on with those death sentences, kind of when they didn't need it. And when they have counted, he hasn't landed them so far. Gambit are trying to counter something here. They're 5-2 down in kills, but again, they still have that gold advantage. They have picked up those dragons.
So I think this is the first time that Diamond's been able to be in the bush, in the bottom lane, without Aranea necessarily responding. Stand United is available for Kevin. So if Diamond were to go in, we could see Kevin jumping in, using that ultimate. He's got a Sunfire Cape and a Spurred Visage. He's very, very tanky already. But I think Creatine and Jerry, they're aware of this. They backed away, and they've been playing super, super passive from the moment that Diamond moved into that lane.
Well, both of the teams have, to be fair. We're at the 22-minute mark, and nobody's really switching out of the lane phase yet. They're happy to stick around as long as possible. Diamond, once again, coming in, this time sweeping out that bush, realizing there is no ward. They have snuck himself in there, and Diamond may try and make a play.
Yeah, we'll see how Diamond makes this happen, because as it stands, you've got to give props to Creatine and J-Re. They've played defensively. They've hung all the way back. I think they can afford to be a little bit braver, considering that Kevin Shen can jump in at a moment's notice, but every single lane is content to farm. Alex now wants to jump on Kerp. Kerp's just waiting for it.
Gets that duck ready and waiting, and it explodes him before the burst actually landed him as well. Managed to trigger it just at the right time. Aranea sneaks in towards this bush, but it could backfire. They do manage to go in, but a quick crescendo comes out from Edward. Is it going to be enough? Edward's taken low. J-Re taken low. Stand United comes out. Kevin joins the party. Back in towards it. They're going to chase on towards it. Aranea hasn't got enough damage to try and chase this one. And now Diamond's going to come in there. Cocoon will be back in just a moment. Will it land? No. Creaton flashes away.
Yeah, but here comes Alex. He's working towards the tri-bush. He has enough damage to burst someone.
He's going in towards Aranea. He's going to be the focus. Doesn't use the combination right.
It was the closest target. So yes, he hit the abilities, but that is Aranea with the spread of the Ancient Golem. He's going to now go on a Creatine who's much squishier.
Now he's going to go in, but he puts the leash on J-Re, puts the damage on Creatine. Oh, Alex.
He can't find his target. He can't find the person he wants to get on. And in that situation, Aranea building tanky with the Ninja Tabby boots, with all of the MR and the HP that he's afforded himself with the Spectre's Cowl and the Ancient Golem, allowed him to get away from that burst. The first tower of the game falling in about in a few seconds time. Darian just has to breathe in it. They got bottom.
They did, yes.
They did.
They already got bottom. I was trying to help you out there. Second tower of the game, though, does fall quick shot, and that's both come from that play. Kevin goes aggressive in the top. Not a lot going to come from that one. It's the dragon they're focusing on.
Yeah, I'm going to go on a limb. I actually feel like that's the longest a game has gone on without a tower falling. We'll see if we can get that confirmed by production, but that's a 22-minute laning phase. Dragon falls, now Alex is going to jump on Aranea, but look at that. That's a QR combo that took a third of Aranea's HP. Not even.
Not even doing enough because, of course, he's got that Spirit Visage building up already. Genja popping his ultimate on the culling on towards Kerp here. He's just going to throw down that rubber ducky and launch, fail himself. And now Diamond may well catch on towards him here. He's in trouble. He's going to run a long way, but he's got nowhere to go. Who's going to pick up the kill? Well, it could be Genja. Yes, it will.
Genja just runs him down. Static Shiv, as well as that Relentless Pursuit, just continues hammering away on Kerp. Kerp was able to at least get that mid tower, so getting a tower for a single kill, I think he'll probably be happy with. Now Diamond does get taunted up, the rest of Millenium going in.
Aranea comes around there, can they lock him down? Yes they can, no problem there. We just saw the Lantern thrown out as well from J Reach, just making sure it's safe. Kraton down the bottom lane, he's going to try and push on towards it. Chomper's not going to be enough, and Alex is just going to make mincemeat of him. Or is he? Has he got enough to turn it around? No, he hasn't. Alex takes him.
Even with Alex not getting a completely optimal combination off, he's got enough burst there with the Death Cap and the Athenes to shut down Kraton. Once again, Kraton did get the tower for it, so I think overall, advantage Millennium, they get more gold from the trade. Now, however, Gambit wants to reply with mid.
Well, they're trying to keep the poke on towards his turret. Edward's saying, I've got power cord, I can use it on the tower, no problem, just keep that pressure down. Every time we do see Millennium, they're trying to make those plays, we do see Gambit responding in kind. They are starting to get themselves well into this game. You can see the 4,000 gold advantage, and now I feel the emphasis is with Gambit. They are the ones that are attacking.
Yeah, they've got the ability to find picks and continue this up. Look at Alex, the way he's roaming. He wants to kill somebody. He has been spotted by a Millennium Ward there. There are a number of red pings on Alex's position, so we'll see if they can set up a reply kill. Jerry's waiting in the wings, and Stand United is available. Here comes Alex!
Alex comes in, steals it away. Nicely done there. Despite Aranea, he had that smite, didn't get it.
Well, the burst of a Death Cap LeBlanc was a little too high for him. There just simply was no other abilities used by Aranea. Now, Genji and Edward still sticking on this middle lane. They've basically been dueling Kerp and J-Ree for the last minute and a half. And we're going to see another tanky top fight in the exciting episode 327.
Yeah, well, don't forget Darian does have more damage on him on that Renekton with that Moron Warriors he built very early on. Gone for Longsword as well, so we'll see what he builds into next. I'm wondering if there's going to be a last whisper coming out again from the Renekton. We'll see how that one goes. Mid lane, as you mentioned, they've been fending this one off for a while, but it seems to be only a matter of time before they collapse around.
There's 3 members of Millennium here.
Oh, Aranea taken very low there. Does manage to get away with it though, and again, Darian popping that Dominus, trying to go aggressive.
There's a great synergy between the Renekton ultimate and that Mobile Mortiers because the Dominus gives you a nice chunk of several hundred hit points. It makes the effects of the Mor's passive giving you more attack damage per missing health, and Darian is not afraid of Shen. Usually you see Shen's in a situation that are completely unkillable, but Kevin is down 30 CS. He's got multiple kills thanks to roaming around the map with that Stand United. But as it stands, Darian's got pressure. He's got the tower, he's got the CS lead, and he's pushing Kevin around.
Darian not so sneaky, stood on top of a ward, thinking he may be able to catch out Kevin as he pushes up that lane, but instead, we do see Edward using that power cord, taking himself some minions. 15 CS for Edward now. He's doing a great job.
And once again, itemization. I keep going back to this Eve because it's the interesting one in the game. Arenea's got a Hex Drinker, and he's actually got fairly good tanky stats here. He's trading with Darian fairly well. There's no dominance from Darian either.
Aranea is doing a very good job at trading here. Darian realizing it, has to slice and dice his way out of trouble.
He makes it this time. So 1 for 1 in terms of the Dukes. Alex Edge hanging out over the bush. Now, I think when Genji and Edward get to this tower, they're going to go. They've caught Diamond.
The hook on Diamond, but straight away, Kerp gets aggressed upon. The culling coming through. The leash is not going to be enough. Stand United comes back out. They do take the tower down, though, and Genji backs away.
Yeah, that chain was so close to killing Kerp. I think the Stand United was probably the very good call. The moment it began to channel, Alex backed away and didn't stick around for that last proc of damage. Arenea's caught Edward just a little bit. Edward's going to be able to get that Song of Celerity, his E movement speed, and get away.
Well, Darian's had to join the team now, so it's going to be straight 5v5s, or is it? Because Kerp's going back to the top lane, continuing that farm, and he wants to be the first to hit 300 CS, which seems possible any moment now.
Yeah, he's going to get there very, very soon. And this game has been very... I don't even want to say artificially extended, but you know, we had the first half fall in about 22 minutes. It is the longest in the EU LCS. The record prior to that was 19 minutes. And since then, we have lost most of the outer turrets. But it's all been a matter of which team can catch their opponents closer. Darren may even try to steal the golems. Was thinking about it. he actually completed a Brutalizer, not a Last Whisper. So gone for Armor Pen, but slightly different to what we were expecting.
Oh, Alex Sitch actually finding Kevin and both running away. It's like startling themselves and panicking and running away.
Kevin's giggling just as much as we are at that one, and I think right now...
Oh, he's not giggling now. He's not giggling anymore. He's been caught out and locked in there. And Kevin, well, with the Ignite bursting, you can see the damage that Alex has now got available to him.
So Alex actually got about 1.5 spell reels off, almost got Kevin low enough to think about a kill, but he burned his Ignite, and I'm not really sure I like that idea. It's going to at least keep Kevin down, keep him in the background and split pushing. You know, and Ignite's not available, so we'll see if Alex tries to put damage down on Aranea.
Creaton's having to keep them away in this top lane. Mega Inferno Bomb's going to come through. That will wipe out the minions, and Darian will take a tower hit. Something I noticed in here, because Darian has only gone for that Sunfire Cape, he's really lacking in the tank, which means the entire Gambit team are lacking a tank.
Yeah, at this point, though, Gambit's not looking for fights. They are literally saying, Alex, look, go have fun. Find somebody to kill. We'll wait for you to kill someone, then we'll look at a fight where we have, you know, stronger numbers. And Gambit have not grouped up for these bigger engagements really at all. Dragon is now alive, and this could be a place to fight. Stand United is not up for Kevin just yet, though.
Yeah, they need to try and delay this one out. He may keep on pushing that top lane instead. We'll see whether they trade it. Aranea's ready and waiting. I don't think he fancies this. He's already stepping away from it, so Millenium will give them the Dragon. Oh, Jamie's going to get caught out. That may be someone that Alex fancies. He's going to try and keep on him, as he said. Stand United is now available. Doesn't want to waste it. He wants to take that turret down. They gift Alex Hitch that kill because he wants to get the turret instead. Aranea is in trouble now. We do see in the top lane, Genja's gone back in there, so he's going to keep Kevin away from the tower, so they don't even get the tower.
Yeah, you talked about the fact that Gambit don't have a traditional tank, and they're playing like they don't care about it. The rest of Gambit have got this heavy split push map game going on. They're playing the 1-1-3 match right now. Aranea has no flash. Keep that in mind. He needed to flash away from Alex. And at this point in time, Gambit are in complete control. They've got a 7,000 gold lead, and they're just setting their sights on each individual tower.
Kevin just regenerating that health that he's lost to Genja, and instead he's going to keep trading it back and forward. We do see the top lane and the bottom lane both pushing on towards those towers at the moment, though. It is Gambit trying to force it out. Diamond comes around the side. Aranea fancies this one, tries to lock himself in there. Mega Inferno Bomb is going to come in, quickly repels out of that one, avoids the danger. Alex Hitch now, he goes aggressive, pops the mines down, does manage to come back. We didn't quite see what was going on there, but Alex Hitch is taken low. He's going to take a tower hit. The Ignite was not enough.
No, not this time around. Oh, Super Mega Death Rod getting close. It's not over. Aranea's got Diamond.
Diamond has to flash away from that one. Aranea is going to keep on chasing. His wood turns straight in towards him, dodges out of the cocoon. The rest of Millenium coming around the side. He's got nowhere to run. He's going to have to use the crescendo. Stand United comes out. Alex Hitch comes in, tries to go to curve. Not enough damage. And now the Shadow Dash not on towards Edward. Edward's going to go down here. Aranea will take it. It's a clean 3 kills for Millenium.
Gambit did not want that fight without Renekton with them. That was all of their squishies grouped up. Once Stand United began to channel, Kevin was able to save the life of Aranea, and because they've got so much mobility on the side of Millenium, they just ran Gambit down, securing themselves 3 kills. Keep in mind, however, that was all after Gambit had secured themselves that Dragon and was pushing up the wave and pushing the lanes down. Millenium need more of those fights to get control of the map, because they're actually very far behind right now.
Yeah, it gives you the sense that maybe, oh, hello, the Chomper's landing on there. We are going to see Genja down the bottom taking a stroll for some reason. Meanwhile, Darian does get away, gets through towards the Baron pit and manages to escape.
So, Darian gets out cleanly, as you mentioned, was able to use that slice and dice as well as the flash. Summoner spell has burned, and he got out clean. So, 7,000 gold once again. Gambit are in the lead. Millenium now playing very aggressive. This is the first time we've seen them pushing beyond their turret, really. Trying to get some vision down. And look at how deep the wards are now for Gambit. They are going to be aware where Millenium are on the defensive posture, because the moment Millenium are in their jungle going for their blue or their wolf, they're going to be revealed to Gambit.
So Kerb continues that farming dominance. Now he wants 400 CS. He's realised he's been caught up by Genja, so he's going to return to the lane and keep that farming going. That's the Millenium way, it seems, at the moment. Genja, as I say, he was off on his own on that top lane, which is why he's picked up on so much CS. So while all that craziness was happening, while the Gambit were pushing, they actually didn't have Darian, they didn't have Genja with them. Look at this. Baron started off.
Well, when you've got a Mormar Mortis plus a Black Cleaver on the side of Darian, there's so much damage there. It is being shredded quickly. Creaton may try and steal, but it's getting low.
Millenium are going to close in on this one. They have the vision. They're going to go in, but it's not going to be soon enough. Mega Inferno Bomb lands, but Gambit quickly get themselves away.
Yeah, Gambit were able to secure that with the Execute and the damage from Elise. Even though the Mega Inferno Bomb and the Super Mega Death Rocket both came in at the same time, it was about a second too late. I wonder if this Ruby Gem for Darian is going to work his way towards maybe even a Walmart, something with more HP. I don't know why he wants to itemize, because this is a very different build for Renekton, and he's not going to have that survivability per se in the extended team fights, but if he gets to Creatine or Kerp, with that amount of damage, he's going to melt through their HP bars.
Yeah, we've seen before, Darien does what Darien pleases. Diamond also going a differential in builds, of course, getting that Leandris completed. The Banshee's Veil was picked up a long time ago as well. So, we'll see how Gambit take it from here. Despite the fact they are 9-5 down in kills, they keep that gold advantage they've had throughout the game. They always take the objectives, the towers, the dragons, and now the Baron.
Gambit are so happy going to the late game. I think we've talked about how one of Millennium's biggest weaknesses is closing out games and decision-making in the super late. Whereas Gambit, they've got so many years of experience behind their belt at this stage. So if Gambit continue the split push, can continue playing the map, they can grow themselves more advantages. Right now, though, with Baron buff on, this is the first time they're grouping up. They've got a good gold lead, they've got a good statistic lead thanks to that Baron, and you can see them playing this one. Look for an engage with a crescendo from Edward potentially to start the fight.
With that Baron buff on, the minions coming in, they surely could see just one down. The Cullen being used very early on by Genja, wants to get that poke out. Mega Inferno Bomb used to keep that wave at bay. Meanwhile, it looks like Gambit, they're happy to rotate around. Maybe going to try and look for some picks off the side.
They've got the ability to do so. You see now, once again, they've grouped up in middle, forced Millennium to respond, and now Genja is going to sort of secure the side lane farm. Alex is waiting in the wings trying to jump on somebody. I almost expect Gambit to continue trying a sort of 4-1 split or even 3-1-1. Even though Genja now, the moment he revealed himself, Millennium try to find a pick, Gambit back away quickly enough.
Yeah, he wants to jump on someone. It may be Creaton or around air. Creaton's going to maybe take the bait, realizing it is like, don't fancy going that way. We know what Alexic could be doing, and they read that situation very well. But it does mean that Genja's got himself on towards that tower. Oh, they are going to get towards it. It's Kevin that he went for. And look how much damage he did to the major tank of Millennium. He is a very strong tank as well, and he took him below half health.
Yeah, the split pushing now of Gambit is working out. Genja was able to grab the bottom in a turret because of the extended time Millennium needs to get around that threat of Alex. And because of the damage they put on Kevin, Gambit secure another tower just because of superior positioning. Aranea wants to flank. He has no Agony's Embrace, so this will make it so much more difficult to kill. They've got Alex.
Alexic is going to get focused, but he may well turn this one back around on its head there. It does mean Gambit will step away. It keeps the inhibitor turret safe, but 2 inner turrets have already fallen. The top one will certainly be next.
With the sustain of the Baron buff and the sustain that Sona gives you, Gambit can continue this for as long as they want to. You can see Genja just continues picking up that side lane farm. Dragon has actually respawned, so Diamond's going to pick that one up, and Darian's gone to the top lane. They've got such a strong advantage, they can just play this map game like this now, splitting the lanes as long as they want to, because Millennium have very little they can do to get back in.
And you saw it there, that every single objective was taken by Gambit now. 5 dragons out of 5, 1 Baron out of 1, and they are really in full control of all those objectives. Now we can see Alexic going aggressive, pouring that burst on towards Creaton. He is going to keep him at bay. They are trying to save it out. They're going to try and focus on Darien, and we've seen this a number of times, and we know Darien gets away.
2 out of 3 now. We're going to keep tabs on how quickly or how often he gets over the wall. Got that Black Cleaver. Morty is a very different build on Renekton, and I think for the style of game Gambit are playing, looking for picks and playing the map, it actually works very well. It allows him to duel Kevin's Shen a little more frequently, shred through his armor, and also makes him scarier to deal with everybody else.
Well, just a couple 2 seconds late to get on towards Darien there, and again, you know, since those first 2 kills that Aaron was involved in, hasn't made that much of an impact on that Evelyn. He has done a very good job. You can see at 4-1-1. It's probably one of the better champions he's played so far in the LCS, certainly in the spring split. But again, the rest of his team, they just have no focus.
There's no initiation from Millennium. You've got a 4-1 Evelyn who is a tank Evelyn right now, and it's Arenea's job to find the fight, to flank Gambit and catch them out. Now that can't happen because Gambit aren't allowing themselves to be flanked. Gambit aren't grouping up as a 5-man and giving themselves an opening for Millennium to take advantage of. So as long as Gambit continue to stay spread out like they've done for 37 minutes, they're not going to get caught by a 3-4 5-man Agony's Embrace, and the only opening that Millennium have for a fight is always going to be a risky one. Go against the 3-man top or the 2-man mid, pick the wrong one and you lose an inhibitor.
And this time around, it may be another inner turret. We see, of course, Galaxy going aggressive on towards Kraton, bursting him down. That means they will put pushing on towards that top lane turret. They take the final inner turret down, and now it is 6-2 in terms of turrets. Gambit finally looking to clump up and push. No, gonna back away again.
Sadly, it's too late for Millenium right now to actually make a call. Because of the fact that they are 14,000 gold down and they're on their inhibitor turrets, if they were to make a fight, they've got Edward, but look at this. They can't go in. They cannot go in for this fight. Edward gets away because Millenium are too far down, and you know, Alex is just having his way with Millenium, finding targets and really trying to pop anywhere.
Well, 4 members of Gambit push on, getting some damage on towards that inhibitor turret. Meanwhile, the top lane, Alex continuing to just terrify anyone that comes near him at the moment. You see all the buff control that Gambit have. Zap not landing from Kraton, trying to take down that Banshee's Veil. Not going to happen. Kevin's going to come back up there. Aranea wants to get on towards Alex, but they've got nothing to stop him, and he's going to go once again on Kraton.
Now, Millenium need to go now. Genji's about to reveal himself in the bottom lane, but look at this. Gambit are backing away a little bit. If Millenium find a fight now, they're going to have a 5v4. But it doesn't look like they can get in range. Alex gets away with the distortion, and they're just going to wait for Genji to either push up to the inhibitor turret and then join the team before Gambit siege. Gambit are playing this perfectly. They know the strengths and weaknesses of Millennium's comp, and they're not falling prey to them.
Well, it's 30 seconds for that Baron to spawn. All the way is pushed in. And we see Gambit going back to buy, getting themselves prepared for Baron number 2. And honestly, Millennium, well, they have no vision whatsoever. They have no way of knowing when this is going to happen.
They don't, and for Millennium to get that vision, they need to take a page out of Froggen's book, grab a Scrying Orb. 1 or 2 right now. Because they're so far down, you can actually just scan and move forward for that Baron if you want to challenge. They're not going to at this point in time. They're grouping up as 4. They may find Darian, but there are some pings now on Kevin. So look at the position. Kevin is now caught out by 2 members of Gambit. They're going to go on him, and it might be a little bit of a bait.
They're going to close in. He has to use the Lantern. Jerry just pulls him away, but Darian, he's coming around the side there. Aranea sees him. And now Aranea actually may get focused on. They know that someone is up around there. We did see the sweeping lens from Edward. Going to clear out all of that vision. And Darian running harassment control in the top lane while the rest of the jungle is covered off by Gambit.
Gambit are going to be able to start this Baron off and pull Millennium towards them, then peel off and go for the fight. Kevin's trying to go for the split push. They caught Alex, but it's not going to be enough. Agony's Embrace was used. Agony's Embrace was used. It's not available for this fight.
And I got a feeling it may have been used on the Banshee's Veil. I don't think he actually popped the Banshee's Veil before he used it. So nothing coming from this one, and this is not looking good for Millennium. Gambit are just playing this one how they please.
They're playing it perfectly. It's patient, it's controlled, it's decisive, and because we've gone 41 minutes in and we've seen Diamond grabbing himself 211 CS, he's a second AP carry. He's got an Abyssal Scepter as well as a Liandry's Torment completed right now. There's so much damage from him. Arena's going to find Alex, but he's going to be in a little bit of trouble.
Well, this time around he's going to leash him. Darian's going to join the party, and they're going to go aggressive. It is a support of J-Ree in there as well. The rest of the team do come around the side. Aranea goes in, tries to get the smite, not going to happen. Diamond does manage to take the Baron down, but at the moment, well, Millennium backing off again.
Yeah, going to get out cleanly. Kevin didn't even use his Stand United. He continues to try and push the wave out on the bottom lane. The only 2 towers that Millennium have secured in 42 minutes is that middle and bottom lane tower. They gave up kills to do so. Gambit are about half the kills the Millennium has secured, but they've got triple the towers, double the Barons, and every single one of the Dragons.
So let's see what they do with that advantage. They now have a giant's advantage at that. Darian, well, he's going to tank out that turret. We see Genja quite happily single targeting while the rest of the team push on there. Not the usual split you see with the AD carry being the solo one, but this is Genja.
Well, Genja's got all the ability to do so. He's got such a good item lead. Alex is going on Kurt.
He's going very deep there. Does the Ignite do enough? Yes, it does. That's going to be the mid going down. This time we could see Gambit finishing the game.
Alex just jumps in, gets the burst plus Ignite. That's going to be enough to kill Kerp. Now we do see them going on Genja, but this is going to leave the inhibitor turret exposed.
And then Genja just, well, with the maneuverability that he has, just going to turn around, go aggressive. Diamond has to repel away. Kraton in all sorts of trouble. Alex joins the fire, and he will manage to take him down. But he does manage to get back and forth action. That will be Alex going down. J-Ree's in trouble now. That's going to be another kill. Aranea goes down. It's Eddie that picks up the kill. Inhibitor turret number 1 will go down. Number 2 will follow.
Gambit are going to be able to use this to finish out the game. Genja's been able to restore his HP thanks to that lifesteal. First inhibitor drops, and Gambit are just going to group up for the rest. This was a slow, methodical, clinical win for Gambit, and they played it well.
They certainly took their time about it. No, Genja, don't go for the final inhib. Whatever you do, finish off the game. They're going towards the Nexus, and Gambit will get themselves back to winning ways. It will take them top, equal with standings with Roccat, but boy, did they make us wait for it.
Yeah, they really did. And we highlighted the weaknesses of Millenium's composition during Champs League. There was no clear, safe way for Millenium to engage. They were reliant on that Shen and Evelyn combination. And because Gambit never grouped up, they were never at risk of being snuck up on by Evelyn.
It was definitely some slow, methodical play from Gambit, that's for sure. But a win's a win, no matter which way you do it, whether it's in 15 minutes or whether it's in an hour. It all counts towards the end of the season, and at the moment, Gambit find themselves now joint top alongside Roccat. Millenium, they find themselves solidly at the bottom of the table.
Millenium have had a very tough time with this one. Unfortunately, once again, the weaknesses come into play. We see how in this particular setup, they actually have strong early phase. They had good ganks, and they got ahead early. But unfortunately, during picks and bans, the compositional weaknesses that they had didn't allow that early game advantage to actually be enough to get them to the mid game.
Yeah, so fantastic stuff. And if you've missed any of the matches today, of course, you can watch them over at lollysports.com. There is a lot of games and a lot of results changing hands. You know, we've seen Roccat getting towards that top of the league. They actually do have a win over Gambit, so technically they are top of the league right now, despite the fact they've got the win. If
you're going to go on the head-to-head records, they are sitting in that position, and I can't wait to see how Roccat continues to play, because as we've seen more and more of these rematches taking place here, Gambit, once again, going 2-0 over Millenium. Earlier today, Fnatic dropping a game. They've gone 0-4 in their rematches. After they beat every single team in the league, every single team so far has said, no, you shall not pass go, you shall not collect another Nexus, and they're taking them down 0-4.
And, you know, stats prove it. Alexic plays an assassin, Gambit get another win. LeBlanc, not exactly an amazing performance from him, but still, a win's a win.
So that was actually a very interesting way to play LeBlanc. In this setup, you know, the fact that Alex was roaming around the map and just forcing people low. He wasn't necessarily getting kills, but he would chunk somebody low enough to allow another lane to push for the tower, to push for a buff invade, to push for Dragon. And that's all Alex did over and over. You've seen him, you know, constantly jumping over the wall at the inhibitor base. Even though he was chunked low, Sona healed him up, Baron healed him up, and he got somebody low enough to actually commit to a fight.
Yeah, and of course ended up getting the kill on Kurt, which started everything off, which finished the game out. So what do we take from the performances